Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to the Oracle of the Light channel. And welcome, everybody. It's lovely to see you all joining me again today. I hope you're all keeping well from wherever you're watching around the world. Before we begin, I want to welcome all my new subscribers. So welcome all you beautiful new subscribers. And also, don't forget to give it a thumbs up below. And also, if you do enjoy the channel, do subscribe. It does really mean a lot to me. I look after all my subscribers. So yeah, do subscribe and thumbs up if you could. It really does mean a lot. And also, of course, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. I always have to say that because it's important we recognize that. So before we begin, I just want to run down exactly why we're calling this Harvard's nightmare. Let me say it properly. Why are we calling that? Well, they've got a bit of a nightmare on their hands at the moment. And I thought, obviously, I value education really greatly. I think education is so important. And getting that good learning about history and the history of things and diversity as well. The importance of diversity is really, really important too. And so when I heard this was going on, I realized that it was really important to see whether we could open this up, because as I say, this channel is all about shining a light in and seeing what's going on, getting a bigger understanding in things, using the tarot cards, oracle cards and things like that. I am a psychic medium and everything as well, so it's nice to use those skills in this area as well to see whether we can shine a bit of light into it. So let me explain what's been happening with Harvard and the Felon's regime. There's been a lot going on recently, so let me just explain. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to MeidasTouch and to IHIP News, because they are a great source of fact-based news of what's going on, you know. And yeah, they're a really good source. I do think they're great. I, of course, read lots of different things, but these are two very, I think, trustworthy, you know, give you lots of information. So do check out that. So what's been going on then? So the Felon's regime has sent, I've got my notes here. So I always do a little bit of, you know, make sure I get the research in before everything, so we know what's going on. So the Felon's regime has sent Harvard a letter, and in that letter they said that that you need to submit and become a vassal institution to the Felon regime. That's what Harvard needed to do, and they wanted the regime to then audit the viewpoints of Harvard students. You know, they wanted to audit and audit those viewpoints of the students. Also, the regime will also look at the curriculum and teach what the Felon regime wants them to teach. So Harvard would no longer be that institution that it's always been. It would be a voice of the regime, I suppose you could say. Harvard would also only be able to hire the faculty that the Felon regime wants. So that's essentially saying that if you don't fit into the Felon regimes, then you won't be hired. And the Felon regime also said that if they do not listen and comply, they will defund them, attack them, and try to destroy them. I'm also going to put a link to a lot of these letters and stuff, to a video with these letters, so it'll come up at the end of the video. You can see the link to that. Harvard now, so what they want to do is Harvard to crumble and sign this letter and then become that voice for the regime. Because obviously they're putting a lot of fear on Harvard to comply, but Harvard has refused to comply and is standing up to the regime and responding by sending a letter back. The Felon regime has then now paused $2.2 billion of funding to Harvard, and there are lawyers fighting for Harvard. Now, the interesting thing about the lawyers is there are some of the top Republican lawyers fighting for Harvard. Remember, this is not just a case of one party or the other. This is standing up for democracy itself, if you like, you know. which is why I think it's really, really interesting that there's Republican lawyers fighting for Harvard on this. You know, I think that's really, really interesting. So yeah, do check out those news sources. Yeah. So that is the basic essence of today's show. But what the question we're going to be looking at is, will Harvard stay strong and win this dispute? And we're going to ask the card. Okay. Let's see what the cards say. I'm going to be using tarot cards. So let me get the tarot cards out. I use the cosmic tarot cards. Just get them out of the box. Okay, so we've got the cosmic tarot cards here. I'm just going to give them a bit of a shuffle. And what the tarot cards will say. I'm also going to give a reading using the Oracle of the Light deck as well. I'm going to use these as well. This deck of cards was designed by myself and my husband. So yeah, let me just shuffle the cards. Need to give them a bit of a good shuffle. So I wonder what they will say. So then, give them a good old shuffle to see what the cards say. And the question we're asking is, will Harvard stay strong and win this dispute? I'm going to get 6 cards out. I think I'm trying to get 6 cards out. Okay, so let me draw the cards out. Here's our beautiful table. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, so it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be easy from what these cards are, okay, to begin with. So we have Temperance the right way up. We have the 3 of Swords the right way up. We have the 3 of Cups but upside down. We have the Princess of Swords the right way up. The Magician upside down. And the 7 of Cups upside down. Quite interesting. So will Harvard stay strong and win this dispute? Well, first of all, Temperance. It's going to require a lot of energy, this dispute. And Temperance is very much a card of like giving a lot, but never forgetting to keep some for yourself almost. Do you see that lady? Is almost like tipping away a lot of her water in a vessel there. And I feel as well the sense of like, I feel there's definitely a sense of like, yeah, this is going to take a lot of energy. It might use a lot of energy, this as well. I don't think this is necessarily going to be sorted overnight, but it's going to involve a lot of energy. I do feel that there's going to be, I feel those daffodils are almost like representative of the people. There's going to be a lot of support behind them though, in terms of the university, Harvard. I feel that this is to do with the growth, because universities and institutions like that are places of growth where people learn and develop themselves and grow. So that's why I can see these reeds here, and almost like the daffodils are like the people, if you like, that are supporting them, you know. Yeah, there's definitely going to be support from people around too. And also the sun shining down feels like that there is going to be a lot of backing from across the water here. I think this is going to go quite big almost with this. It feels like this is going to be, yeah, just I really get a sense of that there's going to be involved. It involves a lot of people, institutions, almost like around the world. I think this might be to do with the coming together. I think this is going to involve a coming together of other institutions as well. almost like they're going to need to have the light shining on them from other institutions too, to help with that energy level, you know, help keep that person warm. They need sun shining on them. That sun can only shine on them from other institutions. So I definitely get a sense of like coming together with institutions is going to be really key here, because it's through that they can also get strength by not just being on their own, you know. That's the first thing, you know. Will Harvard stay strong and win this dispute? This is going to go deep and straight to the heart with this dispute. I don't think this is a lost card. I don't think this is a lost card necessarily. I think, though, that this is a sense of, this is like the regime stabbing the institution in the heart, if you like. That's the best way to put it. I think these are even, we could see these as those people in the regime. We have Felon 45, we have the vice and the press secretary there almost. You could see those three there, and they are all stabbing in the heart, the institution, which is that blossoming flower again, you see. So it's going to go deep. There's going to be a lot of deep hurt caused by this, you know. There's going to be definitely that sense of they're going to do everything they possibly can to kill it. So moving on to the middle cards now, we have the Three of Cups upside down. So this is, to me, representative of Felon 45. This is representative of the regime, in the fact that when this card is the right way up, there is love surrounding you and you are being supported by those around you. But to me, this is the other way up. So this, to me, represents the regime, that there's no support there, there's no love there, there's no connection there. It's very do this or that's it, you know. So, but I feel this one here is the institution. So these cards, if you can look at them there, we've got this one, which is the regime, and this one, which is, I feel, almost like the Harvard. This is, you know. So this one, I feel, is definitely saying that they need to use their wisdom of the eagle to see the big picture, to work together with the big picture. Yes, hurt is going to be very, very close here. You know, you see that sword, how close it is, how close that sword is. And swords always represent hurt. But there is to do with the big picture here, seeing the big picture, being in things for the long run, in that sense of like, using that wisdom, using that strength, using that poise, using that education. Okay. Education brings wisdom. Education brings knowledge. Knowledge is power. Harvard is essentially a center of knowledge and therefore a center of power. And I think that is this that almost like people have to empower themselves with right now, you know, not to dumb down and follow like sheep, but to be bold and be strong and be knowledgeable. And, you know, the last row here then is a real interesting card. We start with a magician, and I feel this is also to do with, we have the magician upside down, So this, to me, says really this is to do with about being very real, you know. I feel that it's important to not joke about anything here. The magician is trickery. The magician card often represents trickery, hidden things, not being quite what appears to the eye, being different than that. So the opposite to the magician is being almost like real, recognizing the truth of the position and recognizing the truth of what this might mean is really important. If one institution like Harvard crumbles, what does that mean for other institutions? And therefore, what does that mean for the country? So there has to be a great honesty here about setting that bar at the right point, you know. And I think that this card is about being real, about the dangers that people are facing, about the dangers that people are facing within following that line of a dictatorship. Okay, be very real about that. This is not fun and games. This is not magic tricks. This is real danger, you know. And the Seven of Cups upside down, I actually feel that this is this is a card that recognizes this. So normally this card is like this, and this is when there's a lot of love around someone, but they can't see it. And I feel that this is almost like saying that now is the time to connect to that support that is around. There is a lot of support for Harvard here, and there's a lot of support from the communities and everything for the other institutions. Now is the time to sit up and connect to that, almost do the opposite to that card. And that's why it's the reversed meaning of it, you know, to sit up, to really see where they're going with that, to make sure that they go and connect to the love that's out there too, to not be tied into any relationships with anything they don't want to get involved with. Be very careful what they get involved with, you know. Any relationship with anyone feels like it might be a negative one in that sense. And what I mean by the regime, any relationship to the regime would be negative for the institution, because they want to dictate what they're teaching. They want to dictate who teaches it. You want to change the curriculum, etc., you know. So this is very much about recognizing the potential dangers, recognizing the suffering. There's the whole line of these two cards at the end are actually very truth. We must recognize these truths when we are faced with these sort of fears and truths and things like that. It's about feeling the fear and continuing to have the courage to speak up. Okay, because when we look back in history, you want to be on the right side of history. Okay, and now is that great time in history where it's really important to speak out the truth about good values, being good human beings towards one another, you know. Yeah, really valuing one another's for who they are as people, you know, not just flattening them and using them as much as you can to get that profit, you know. So initially then, in answer to the question, will Harvard stay strong and win the dispute? I do feel they will win the dispute. I do feel that they are going to stay strong because they have the wisdom and the strength of their education, you see. This is what shines through. Even though around this reading, they are surrounded by suffering in many ways. So you've got this education here, and then you've got the Three of Swords, Temperance, Three of Cups, the Magician, the Seven of Swords. So it's like surrounded by a lot of suffering and everything. They're gonna obviously have to watch their energy levels and make sure that they don't give all their power away. It's important not to just give it all away. This is what the very first opening card, always very significant, the first opening card. And this is very much about, you know, keep that energy, make sure you hold on to that and don't give everything away. Don't submit to this power that's crushing down on you almost, you know. I want to get an Oracle of the Light card now to also answer this question. Let's see what that says too. So, will Harvard stay strong and win this dispute? I do feel again though, this is not going to be answered overnight. This is not a simple fix here, and does involve, I feel, the coming together of institutions, you know. And this is the coming together card. Okay, this is definitely that coming together. There is love around, and it's time to connect to that love and those people and those institutions, you know. Now is the time to come together. Just like the people are coming together, it's time for the institutions to come together almost. And this is that calling card for them to do that, you know. Let me see what the Oracle of the Light says as well. Okay, so let's see. So the Oracle of the Light card is unwritten story. So it's like you couldn't even write this. I mean, of all of the things to come out about an institution, and you get a book card like this, it's incredible. And I think that what we have to remember is that maybe a lot of these things that are going on right now have never been done before legally and stuff like that. That there's a lot of things that people are doing that they've never had to face this before. And so I think that's the unwritten aspect of this story. But this is also the importance of this card is we're recognizing the feathers and the ancestors and the history of the institution, and also the history of the importance of maintaining that democracy, and for those pages to be filled with multicolors is so important here, you know. And so now is the time also almost for like Harvard and their lawyers to take hold of this with two hands and almost write the future down, which is what the future they want, you know. Not it's not going to be told to them, not going to be they're not going to be given instructions that they have to follow. They're going to stick to their guns about, no, this is what we do. We're an institution that stand up for diversity, that stand up for many people in society, and stand up for democracy. And the Constitution, we should say here as well. The Constitution, this could also represent the Constitution, as the Constitution, I don't think in American history, in any recent history anyway, has never been so much in the, what could you call it, so much in the balance as it is at the moment. And I think this is definitely a card for that now is the time for that history to be written in the right way, not in the wrong way. Remember, it's important that we are on the right side of history, not the wrong side of history. And it's more important than ever that the words on this page are democratic words that value every individual in society, because that's what we should do, right? We're humans, aren't we? And that's the important thing here, you know, to value all the loved ones in society, you know. It's yeah, very, very important, you know, for the world. And I'm seeing the world there now. It's important for the world, not just America here. It's what goes on in America is going to impact the world in so many ways, you know. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave that reading with love and light. But listen, everybody, I really, really do hope you enjoyed that reading there. And don't forget to leave a thumb up and put your comments below. And if you did enjoy this show, do subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. It just means so much. So with lots of love and light from the Oracle of the Light, I will see you all really, really soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon, everyone. Thank you.